Allison,
It is Monday, November 20th, Tikkun Olam. And go.
Action. Alice and Bev couldn't join us, and since I can't talk much, I'm gonna take the minutes.
Thank you for doing that. Do we want to go around quickly to make sure everyone knows everyone? I'm Linda Muscat. I co-chair this committee with Sharon Stein. Sharon?
I'm Sharon Stein. Lynn,
We can't hear you.
I'm Lynn Frank. I'm doing programming. Oh,
Alan,
I'm
you
Laura
wanna-
Feldman. I help with the Deerfield Free Store.
Good. Alan?
I'm here for the Refugee Committee and the Human Needs Fund. And Rabbi, thank you for the beautiful email that I just read before this meeting started.
Oh, great.
Yeah, nicely
that
done.
just went out.
it was really lovely.
Maida?
I'm Meta Levin. I'm the liaison with Lake County United.
Susie?
I'm Susie Mason. I'm a little bit programming still, although mostly absent these days.
Fair enough. Rich and Andy?
A little bit of everything. The green group and the soup kitchen, the Beth Emmett soup kitchen. I guess I could got that. Coming up next week, we still need a few volunteers.
Rich Amon, and I do work with the Religious Action Center, REC Illinois, and JCOA.
Oh, I could say Faith Good Place.
You just did.
Floyd, you're with us. You want to introduce yourself? Floyd, you're not with us. You look like you are, but you're not.
Yes.
Okay.
Although
Well,
he may be talking and we can't hear him.
There we are.
Yeah, here I am. Floyd Keene, and my role with the committee is to ensure that we have funding to do all the things that we need to and want to do.
Wonderful. And with that, I think we have everybody accounted for. And I'd like to ask Rabbi to inspire us with a few words, please.
I'll do what I can.
Thank you.
So it's good to see you all. Thanks for being here tonight. And thanks to all of you who showed up. I think maybe Rich and Andy get the prize. They were at everything yesterday. The church downtown, the interfaith Thanksgiving service in the afternoon, and the Cantors concert in the evening. So it was a busy day and a fun day. And it actually makes me think about what I'm talking about. This is the week in the Torah portion, which is part of the name of our community. This is the story we were thinking of when we were talking about this, that Jacob comes to a makom and he has a dream there of the ladder between heaven and earth, which can be interpreted, of course, in many different ways. But one of the ways to interpret it is it's about the interconnectedness of all things, right? That, all life depends on the environment. All life depends on each other. So we have, as the Tikkun Olam committee, our role is to do what we can to make the world more whole, make the world more safe, make the world better because we're in it. And yesterday's a good example of bringing together the interconnectedness of things, whether it was between Highland Park and Garfield Park, or the religious leaders who now include Christians, Jews, Baha'i, and Muslims in Deerfield and Highland Park, which is a lovely connection that's continuing to grow. And we shouldn't take for granted that it hasn't always been true that all the cantors in the community could sit in one place on one bima and sing together. That there's outreach and there's inreach, and both of those things are happening. And it's all a part of us being connected with that ladder that goes between heaven and earth. So we take our steps up the ladder, down the ladder, and all around to make all the world one. Can you hear that song?
Thank you. See, you were inspiring. Thank you very much.
Up
I
to you
know
to
that
decide.
we're gonna make a little adjustment in the reports and do them a bit out of sequence because Lori's on a tight timeline this evening. So Lori, do you want to talk to us about the Deerfield Free Store and what's going on?
Absolutely. Thank you for pushing me ahead. Just going to go through a few things there was a meeting last week. Want to go through a few things. They're going to do a pause on an intake of donations from December 17th at 2 until January 7th at noon. Also, they did a posting for car seats that worked really well. I guess they were low on car seats. They did like a targeted like posting and it worked really well. So I think they're going to try and do some targeted postings for other things. And I don't know, Sharon and Linda, if y'all got the little blurb about like the small appliances. So that was like, you know, I guess we're running low on those. So that's what we were trying to do with that. The other thing is when we're with the extended hours for donation, they kind of want one person to be like a dedicated person or person, the couple, for that donation intake, just for consistency, so people know what they can bring and what what goes where. So they're looking not to have that be like a whole bunch of different people, but a few like more dedicated people. What else? During like the Tuesday and Wednesday donation intakes, they don't take furniture donations. And then there's a little and then they've started keeping like a notebook for like if someone's going to pick up furniture later, and they write down like, you know, who's picking it up, their, you know, the name, when it was, you know, when they're picking it up, and they're thinking about asking for the shopper to take a picture of it so they know what they want when they're coming back to get it. Also sending a message to Dennis. We already know about putting like, you know, the dates on the tape, and the latest date of pickup on the tape. And I'm trying to think of what else they said. They have like some brown bins inside Holy Cross that are for donations also. So maybe if they're small donations outside of donation times, you can put them there. And then the next meeting is for the Deerfield Free Store is on January 18th at 6:30.
Thank you very much. I know at the previous meeting for the Free Store leadership team, they debuted a training slide deck. And maybe after the first year, we can set up a time for people who are interested in working at the Free Store to just review what the protocols are. So
yes, and I think they wanted everybody to, I think they were going to have a couple of dates. Now, I don't think I wrote that part down, but they were going to have a couple of dates for everyone to come in, do like training, whether you're a regular volunteer or just a first time, but try and come up with a few training sessions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to beg off. I'll look at the minutes, but thank you for letting me go to the top. And I've just got a bunch of stuff to do tonight. Thanks.
Not a problem. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Y'all too. Bye.
Bye.
Back to the top. Rich, can you talk to us about the trip to Good Hope Free Will Church yesterday?
Well, I could, but the rabbi mentioned it that, and it was a wonderful event, and I was very, optimism is not one of my strengths, so I was very impressed by Macomb's turnout. So not that it matters, but I'll speak for myself. I'm very glad we met. And actually, just to expand upon what the rabbi said is, yes, it was the whole day was filled with community, to be amongst, you know, especially at this time when, you know, there's so much distrust, hatred amongst all peoples, to be in Garfield Park, and then to be amongst all the be amongst all the others at you know, the religious service at the First Pres in Deerfield. It was wonderful. And the timing went very well because the concert was a great way to end the evening. So, and for those interested, for whatever it's worth, they just put out a link. So I think it's BJB's YouTube channel has the concert recorded if anybody wants to see it. And just a couple of other things, you know, from the RAC, they're still involved with their Power of Purpose campaign. They're focusing on the environment, and while they're not addressing any specific issues at this time, but they are, and you know, periodically encouraging advocacy to make sure that the administration follows, you know, what was promised, you know, in some of their early announcements. I did look on the website. There's still a couple of virtual trainings. There was a 3-part series on white anti-racist and, you know, and create multiracial, multicultural communities. There's you can get it from the website rac.org. There's something Tuesday the 28th at 8. I guess it would be 7 o'clock Central Time, and then Tuesday December 5th at the same time. The other thing is in December, and I'm not sure of the dates, is the URJ 150th, you know, 150th celebration, which people are encouraged to attend. We can't make it. And I just saw that they are extending it to do a social action program for 2 days later. This seemed to be more of a celebration, but they did expand the programming. That's also available at rac.org. And the only, you know, RAC Illinois, you know, had their gathering to pick their campaigns. And I think from what I know, I think they're still looking for specific actions to take within the campaigns, one being affordable housing and the other anti-gun legislation. And the only other thing is, you know, if anybody's been reading the news, Chicago just passed a Bring Chicago Home. Chicago just passed the Bring Chicago Home ordinance, and that was a big campaign for the JCU I worked on, and was very instrumental in getting it passed. And I don't know if you're on the agenda, but if you want to say something.
Do you want me to talk now?
Sure.
I mean,
No.
I'm in this picture that, okay.
You are.
Well, I would go back to starting with the campaign that for the environment. We have started gotten off to a little weak start, but Rabbi Ike has signed on to the sponsor organization sponsors and signed on Macomb of the Earth Bill, which is also known as the Earth Act to Stop Climate Pollution. It's a national effort. There are many Jewish organizations signed on, as well as other not-for-profits, other religious organizations. The list is very long. And I am on a committee that meets every 2 weeks about this bill. And I really hope that we can grow this grassroots strongly in our congregation. And I reached out today, it's not the first time, but to Faith in Place, which we are a member of, and hoping that they will get involved in this a little more than I think they are. And I've gone to Brad Schneider's office with other Jewish people from other congregations. So there are postcards on the table in the hall, which at some point this week, I'm going to address each one of them. I really wanted them to be addressed by hand, and feeling that less would be more. So if someone was willing to, you know, just write something, it would be better than a stamp. They are stamped. It would be better than a form letter that we all sign. And I think Brad Schneider, he's probably the one everyone's going to be writing to, will be responsive to our intentions. When I met with him, he said if it was on the floor, he would sign it. But you know, it's not on the floor yet for to date, 4 Illinois representatives have signed to be co-sponsors, Jan Chakowski being one. So in my opinion, this is a hopeful effort to address what's going on every single day. We hear it. I just listened to John Kerry tonight, and we're in it, and we better do something. So, and then the other thing is that the Green Group is sort of having a little Make Less Mess holiday campaign. So every week, starting this week, our eco tip is related to the holidays, and that just comes right in lockstep with our whenever we have our Make Less Mess. That will be our slogan. So watch for those. And
Are they gonna run through Christmas?
yeah, they're going to be we're going to have 4 weeks of them. So this week, if you didn't see it, was more about planning to not waste food, and so how you shop. We have a card that's on the hall table that is anybody can come and get one, and we suggest that you put it on your table. It's a little poem, but the idea is that everybody can get more, but think about what you're taking on your plate before you get stuck with it and we throw it out. There's a huge problem. So they're on the table. We have that. It's in the probably eco tip that we can do that. And I'm going to suggest that we have it on the tables December 1st. And from then on, whenever we have a dinner here, we have this reminder about not wasting food. Just takes a while to get it really integrated into everything. So
Good idea. Thank you. That's a great idea.
thank you.
Well,
And then
Can I just ask for a clarification there about, so say that when the Earth bill comes to the floor, Brad agreed to vote for it, but he hasn't agreed yet to be a sponsor of it. Is that
right. Right. He said if it were on the floor, he'd vote yes. But at this point, but we need him. We need his support. We need all these ones around us. Sean Caston and Bill Foster and Krishmurti,
Raja
Krishnamurti, who he talks a lot, but he doesn't
Doesn't do it.
himself. So it's work we can all do. And then the soup kitchen I'll just tag that on. The Beth Emmett Soup Kitchen is next Wednesday. We could still use some volunteers. I'm not desperate, but we don't have quite enough. And I was surprised that we didn't have any kids, but it's okay if we don't. But usually the parents want to come with their kids. We had one, and we have to have, there are rules. You have to be at least 7. So someone's family didn't come because they had a 5-year-old. That's the rule, and you have to be there at a certain time. So
What is the timing?
you have to 4:15 to 7. The 7 o'clock is more flexible. You could probably leave at 6:30 if that was necessary, but they want people there at 4:15 because we have the groceries that need to all be there so people can start cooking and get their assignments. And when you're waiting, who knows for what, it's just a problem. That's why it has to be at 4:15. They're very strict about, they want me to let people know 4:15 sharp.
It's a fun time. It really is.
It is.
There are cooking tasks at all levels, so. yeah.
Right.
At all levels.
Right.
Boiling water is challenging.
All right, Rich.
Sandwiches to make. Okay.
Moving along here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry if I took too long.
That you did not take too long, but I want to make sure that we hear from Floyd after he gave this great pitch at Services Friday night for making donations to the Human Needs Fund.
Yeah, this is the Thanksgiving appeal for the Human Needs Fund. And as I think all of you know, that the miscellaneous expenses of this committee, the Tikkun Olam committee, are paid for by the Human Needs Fund. So I got to make a short presentation about last Friday. And just today, a letter from clergy came out to the whole congregation. Beautiful letter supporting the Human Needs Fund. And we've now got a poster up in the temple on the poster board. And we just want to get the name Human Needs Fund out to the people, as well as the basics of what we do. And hopefully we'll raise some money, which will help the expenses of this committee and also be used to give to community and extended community organizations that need our help. PADS, Moraine Food Bank, etc. And that's really, we're going to have it going. It's starting now, and we're going to be pushing it the best we can through the end of the year. And if anyone has any questions, please ask.
We had talked about some fundraising ideas in addition to the appeal. Sharon, do you want to address this, or is this something I should be talking about? We talked about doing a Locks Box as a fundraiser. We did it last year before, $36 for a Locks Box on Super Bowl weekend, because you know the Bears are going to be playing, right?
Eventually, just not this year.
It's not this year.
It's like next year. It's like the end of Passover next year in Jerusalem. It'll happen.
Yeah, next year.
Well, if you can't
Maybe they'd
root
like
for
to
the
deliver
Bears,
box boxes.
root for the Chiefs.
Root for the Chiefs. Well, we
Root
like-
for the Chiefs, and you'll be welcome in this household.
Oh, all right. Parties at Manus. Sharon, do you want to squeak a little bit about the fundraising?
I'll squeak a little bit. So the ideas that got the most traction seem to be, we could do a Locks Box again. I think we need to check with to see how much they actually made. Andy brought up Equal Exchange is a fair trade company. They have coffee, chocolate, some nuts. You can you get 10% off the first order. The chocolate bars are very reasonable. I've been buying chocolate bars at the store, and these are really a very fair price. We could, bump it up, and I don't think anybody would be upset. And then we talked about honey. Ort does have a honey program, but it's for Rosh Hashanah. So that would be way down the road. And then there's another company, Got Honey Fundraising, that you could, you do any time of the year. And that looked like, they said it was 50%, that you made. So, I did run into Jen Gordon, at Macomb, and we talked about it briefly. And her thoughts were, which coincides with us, we're not ready to do anything right now. This is going to be after the first of the year. To see how much we bring in from the campaign. And then if we actually need to do a project, but I don't think it would hurt to have one ready to go, because I don't want to hear, in January, oh yeah, we'd like you to do something. So, Andy, did you have anything you wanted to add about the free trade?
I looked into coffee from some companies recommended from the American Bird that are from places that are giving to bird conservation, and their trees that are being protected, coffee trees. The Equal Exchange, I think, having looked into it, is we'd have the most reasonable product. And it's not hard to get. It's really quite easy. I bought a minimum order of about 4 cases, so I didn't have to pay shipping. And I wanted chocolate chips that were not I knew were good, and I knew they won't go to waste. And I think they're about $4 a bag. So cost, it might be a little more. So it was the chocolate chips, cocoa mix, chocolate bars, and coffee is what I bought. And I don't know, there's nothing really else to say. It's not a hard thing to do. How much money we would make, I don't know, but it's also a good thing for right now. Because, you know, it's a good gift, little gift, big gift, baking, whatever. So,
For what it's worth, the congregation is already a member of Equal Exchange, and so I think we get some kind of discount on top of the discounted price. And we get our coffee from there that we serve at Oneg and other times.
Yeah, the one point that I want to add is it's not just a matter of how much money we would make. Obviously, we want to make some money, but it's getting the name of the Human Needs Fund out to the congregation so that when someone wants to give for whatever reason, they think of us. So that's important also.
well, this would, in that case, this would be, you know, so ideal because this is thinking about humanitarian issues. Without a doubt, when it's certified, you know, children haven't grown it, it hasn't done something. People are being cared for through the organization of the certifications. So setting a good example.
So what would be required to move forward with this?
Well, why don't I contact Stacy and ask how much they made on the lock boxes last year? And then
Okay.
I will send an email. And if we deem it worthwhile, I think that was run through the office last year. Why don't I talk to Stacy, figure out what they did last year? I'll help her. Her and I can do it together. Because it's not fair to make Stacy.
That would be
involved.
great. So you can tell them that this is what we're thinking, and we get it on the calendar, and with
Because the Super Bowl is a date that is set. We
thank
can't.
the Lord.
Yeah.
And then maybe just update last year's flyer.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. We'll do the same locks box as last year. So that one can be ready in February or whenever the Super Bowl is. It's February, does that sound right? And then I mean, we wouldn't do the honey till the holidays in the fall. And then maybe if we decide to go ahead with Equal Exchange, we fit that in wherever. I don't know, but I figure the locks box is ready to go because we did it last year. And then we'll see where we are.
Okay. Neda?
February 11th. That's the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl at your house.
Actually,
right?
the chocolate project might be nice for Valentine's Day. We might want to
You could do it
double
for
up.
quorum.
Quorum, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's true too.
Or a Pasadiki chocolate.
Well, that's not going to be free trade.
Unfortunately, probably not.
There's not any. Come on. All right.
I haven't found any yet. That
All right.
Hey,
I'm on it.
okay.
okay.
You go, Vanessa. All right, we have some traction here. Thank you, everybody. Is there anything else we need to talk
Yes.
about on this idea?
What?
Are we ready to move forward? Yes?
Yeah, I can work with Andy a little bit on getting more details about how we'd run the chocolate sale if we wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Alan, do you have a minute to talk to us about the refugee family?
Yeah, there are some snacks with this family, wonderful people, but what happened was the landlord is renovating the building they were living in a very nice apartment. And so they had to move. I haven't seen the new apartment, but it is smaller and not as well maintained. Now the landlord has said that he could give them a new renovated apartment in early December, but Amy and I are running into problems or difficulties in convincing the father that that's the best move. The children are traveling longer to get to school. Their teachers report that they're both terrific. Mother does not yet have a job. And I think the main reason that the father doesn't want to move back is that he is now getting a job. I'm sorry, getting a ride to his job at O'Hare, which is a big benefit for him rather than to have to take public transportation from the north side to O'Hare. So I think we'll have a definitive answer tomorrow. My guess is they are not going to move and they'll make the best of it.
Okay, well, at least they have a place, right?
Yeah.
And it's not ideal, but it's their choice, and it's nice that they're able to have some agency on this.
Yeah. One side note that was good news. The first refugee family which they came in 2018, two things. Dad recently was sworn in as a US citizen after passing all his exams, at the minimum of 5 years of being here. And also he and his uncle bought an apartment building. Lori Caton has the most contact with that family. And when I heard about the struggles that the new family is having, I asked if the former family, not former family, the first family would be able to rent to them, but they have already rented their third floor and their basement, so they have no place to go. So that's, good news, bad news at the same time. The final thing is that we, not just those of us on the screen tonight, but the Refugee Committee, and perhaps in unison with the Unitarian Church, who's working with us this time, we have to decide whether we're going to be ready to sponsor another family in 2024. And actually, Highest Immigration and Citizenship has reached out to me for that very purpose. I don't have an answer on that yet. That's it. And Rabbi, I wanted to mention to you that while we've been in the meeting, I received an email from Dottie Zoller, who's one of the members of the Human Needs Fund, who said, pretty fabulous letter from the clergy on human needs appeal. So thank you again.
Floyd, Alan, do we have a goal for this campaign? We're successful if we get whatever.
As many shekels as we can gather.
That goes without saying. I just wondered if we had a number we were targeting.
No.
Linda, I have a number in my mind, which I don't think we're going to reach. And if we did reach it, it'd be absolutely fabulous. But there's no formal goal.
Okay. You don't want to share. Okay. Fair enough.
I can share, but what's in my mind, if we raise 10 grand, that would be fabulous.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to do that, but I'd love
I don't know. It's a really great letter. Lynn?
On the topic of refugees, I'm meeting with Ashley Marine from Girl Forward via phone tomorrow. And she's going to speak December 15th about the work that Girl Forward is doing with refugees. And I believe one or two of our families have girls enrolled in Girl Forward.
Two do, and we're hoping that a third girl who will become a high school student next fall will also enter the program. It's been very successful, the two who are already in it. And I did have an email exchange with Ashley this week, and she's looking forward not only to talking with you, Lynn, but speaking at the congregation in December.
Great. And our collection for December is items for Girl Forward that they've requested.
Sharon?
Also, the women's group at Macomb reached out to us. Do you want to tell about that, Lynn?
Sure, spare your voice. The women's group at Macomb are doing a Hanukkah women's celebration, and they reached out to us and asked if there was a collection that they could do. And when we mentioned Girl Forward, they thought that would be perfect. So they're essentially duplicating our ask with their members who are coming to the Hanukkah Women's Celebration. And that's fabulous that we could team up.
Yeah, that was really nice that they reached out to us, and it's nice that we were able to coordinate. It's a really nice example of coordinating it across the board.
Absolutely.
Okay. Somebody else say something? No? Are we on to new business? We're talking about the town hall for January 16th. And at this stage, I think new date. Yes?
Don't we have, common cause for January?
That's a Friday night. This is gonna be a Wednesday
Oh, never mind.
town hall.
But what a good memory you have, Sue.
Or a
That's wonderful.
Tuesday night. It's a Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, I think.
It's
And-
our third date.
And we had talked about focusing on the Deerfield Free Store, RAC, the Green Group, to just give people an idea of where they can join in and become part of this. But we are certainly open to suggestions beyond that. At this point, it looks like it's going to be a virtual experience.
If you want to have it multi-access, we can meet at Macomb and then be online as well.
Yeah, are you guys aware of this new technology we have for hybrid meetings?
Have we started using it yet? We don't want to be the first.
Yeah, Lynn.
Am I jumping ahead too quickly?
Well, here's the thing. You are correct. We have it. However, there's a few missing cords and microphones, and it has not been used yet, but it's only November 20th.
Oh.
And
Well,
Vanessa
you
has
get-
assured me we'll be using it for a study on Saturday mornings.
Yes, we will. And my
Good.
book groups. And my book group meets the first and third Wednesday in the month. So I have incentive for them to like, come on, I got to try this out.
I'm going back to the town hall, if that's what we're calling it. I encourage us to do that in a hybrid meeting. If we can get people to come in person, I think we can make a better sale.
I agree. Anybody else have any feeling about that one way or the other?
I just need to know because we'll get security for that evening and, just make sure that the building is open.
I think I agree with Ellen. For events like that, in person is much better.
And I will piggyback on Sunday, and some of you were there. We went down to Goodwill Free Hope, and we had a bus. And afterwards, people, not only did they like the experience, I think they just liked being together. And I know we have some empty nesters who are not coming to school events or any of that type of theme, and they're looking for a chevra. They're looking for community. So I think it's a great idea.
Well, and as long as we can stream it for people who can't get out or don't
Yeah.
want to come out, I think that's wonderful. I'm
sure it'll be
fine with
working
that.
by then.
Yes, as long as that thing is working.
I mean, worst case scenario, we'd Zoom and, but we can work it. We can work it.
Okay. Well, let's put us down for a hybrid event.
I will let the office know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Where else am I going here? Maida, Lake County United, and the affordable housing in Waukegan.
Lake County United and affordable housing, but by the way, I'd like Lake County United on that town hall. I mean, there's plenty that we can do. I don't know how much you all know or aware about what's been going on in Waukegan, but Lake County United has essentially been looking at 2 spots for affordable housing. This is not the first time we've been involved in affordable housing. There's a unit in Mundelein and a unit in Grays Lake that we were instrumental in getting built. The one in Waukegan has been moving slowly, although it's on land that used to be part of the St. Therese Hospital and now is owned by the people who own the Lake Behavioral Hospital, which we also Lake County United also was involved in. We have had a verbal agreement that they would donate a large portion of that land for affordable and supportive housing. To the point where we are with a developer, De Bruler, who specializes in affordable housing. And there's also, I'm blanking out on the name of it, that we also are involved with. But until now, we did not have a signed agreement. We have a signed agreement now. That just happened. And under that signed agreement, they will do all the demolition work on existing buildings because as I said, it used to be the old St. Therese. There's a building that used to be a nurse's quarters. There's a building that used to be a garage, a multi-level garage. There've been all sorts of problems there because these things are now empty. So drug dealers have moved in. It's been terrible. So they are going to demolish that. We have Lake County United has a promise of a donation from the state. And when Lake Behavioral Hospital demolishes those extraneous buildings, we will give a portion of that $3 million worth to them to cover their costs. But the land, it's about 20, I think it's 20 acres if I remember correctly. And what we want to put on it, what we are trying to get through now, our next step is to get through the Planning Commission in Waukegan, is between 40 and 60 townhomes, as well as a building that will be 1 bedroom and studio residence. So that's the next step. But right now, the big deal is we've got a signed agreement.
Well, that's great.
It is. It's really, really great. In Libertyville,
Huge.
Sarah can tell you more about Libertyville, but Libertyville, it's not quite as far, but they've done an incredible amount of work in Libertyville. Just a lot of work. So we're hoping 2 projects.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Is there anything else we should probably talk about this Sunset Food Drive? There was an email that went around earlier, and Flanagan Bassey, I guess, wrote to Rabbi about this. Rabbi, do you want to discuss this?
The details were in that email, which I can probably find, but just that the township food pantry does a 1-day drive around this time, and they need some volunteers to be, I think, outside of Sunset on particular days, on particular hours, to encourage people to donate to Moraine Township Food Pantry, either by going into the store and buying stuff or making a donation directly. So they're just looking for some volunteers. So it's a question of how we go about letting people know that there's a couple of days where we need some volunteers.
That's the sign up. I just put it in the chat. We're going to put it on Facebook. It's December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, according to the email. They're just looking for people to help them raise awareness and get some food. And I'm trying to go through my emails really fast. Vanessa?
Tove is looking to coordinate some some collections. We got an email from, is that JUF? Whatever.
Ah,
They have a lot of family projects and they run the Uptown Cafe. And they're looking to coordinate with congregations on some collection projects. So the question is, would we want to do that 1 month with what they're collecting instead of, if we have a month that we have a speaker that doesn't need a collection, can we plug into a Tove collection? So I don't know how people feel about that.
Sharon, I'm confused. The work that we've done in the past, Carol and I, has at the JUF Cafe, is to serve meals. I'm not clear what it is that they're asking for now.
It's not for the cafe. Let me find the email. It's other collections that they're doing. It's okay, so it's called Invitate. They sent it to Holly. Anyway,
Cove usually sends out a request. once a
organizing a
month.
collection from your synagogue, Mitzvah Mania, promote the cafe, a good deeds day. I don't know, maybe I should just share the email with everybody and you can see what they're asking for. Collecting items for a Latino group. So it's not specifically going to the cafe.
Okay, yeah, Tove usually sends out an email once a month or once every 2 months with activities that are available. So that's probably what you received.
This was, more directed towards a congregation joining with them, not individuals. But I'll share it with you and then we can look it over
Lynn?
maybe to discuss next time.
One more quick item I forgot about previously and didn't ask to put on the agenda. December 10th, Alex Cohn and I are helping David Valentine and with the sixth graders, gratitude generation is coming in. They have a mitzvah project coordinator who helps students and families find mitzvah projects because sixth graders are approaching that time when they're going to need it. So she's going to come in December 10th and talk to the sixth graders.
Who's the mitzvah coordinator? Do you
Off
know?
the top of my head, I do not remember, but I will find out and send it to you.
Great.
What an interesting job. Wow.
Yeah, it's a volunteer position.
I
but
know,
yes.
but what an interesting idea.
Yeah. Yep. And if she can, she'll bring in some teens who have done projects through them so they can give a quick talk. But it depends on whether she can round up a couple of them.
Very interesting idea. December 10th. Okay. Any other business we should be discussing? We're all good, safe, warm, healthy, looking forward to
I'll just mention that Cornelius Parks and I will be meeting again soon to figure out what the next thing we can do together would be. We're trying to think of some kind of service project type thing that we can do together. So, so we'll see what comes out.
Rabbi, one thing that occurred to me is could several congregants invite members from the church to come to a Seder?
It's an interesting idea. I'll add it to the list.
Okay.
So let's see what we can.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Andy?
well, I would, we belong to Faith in Place. They have outreach, they have churches in that area. And I, of course, would like to see some connection on that. On the environment. It's like the one thing that unites everyone. And I think we could get someone from, I'm sure we could, from Faith in Place to explain what they do and there's people that are, they're neighbors. And since we belong to that too. So that's all.
I don't know what's on your list, and now that I'm thinking about it, the lot just to the north of the building. You clean up that lot and turn it into a garden.
They have a garden.
At the church in downtown. Yeah, I've noticed those lots. They do have a small box garden.
Right.
I don't know what the situation is. There's a lot to the south and to the north of their building. So I'm not sure what those are or who has them. But anything to beautify that neighborhood, anything to take things better there.
Yeah.
would be-
Actually, one person who was there on Sunday who belonged to the church remembered that we did the garden in Lawndale. She remembered us from when she
Oh,
came
yeah.
to home, and but nobody knew about the Sukkah project. But I hope we have a field trip next Sukkot that goes to that, and maybe we could. They would join us. It's not that far.
Okay.
Well, thank you all very much.
Good
I
suggestion.
appreciate you
Thanks.
spending the hour with us. Thank you. We actually finished 4 minutes early. I want that on the record because I'm always running late.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving to everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good to
Thank
see
you.
everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody, bye.